This is how to remove the control panel, replace the control panel. Now there's going to be two different control panels on the Canons. There's ones that have the three lines right here on the side, and then there's some, I don't have one at the moment of the other one, but it'll have a cutout. And those two are two different screens because it's the way it's wired from here all the way here, or it's wired from here to just here. So right now what we're gonna do is replace this one that has this connection, this three lines right here, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I take that cover off. But first you're gonna want to lift this, and you're gonna remove this screw that's underneath here. That screw. You're gonna come down to this side, and you're gonna remove this one. Now these steps are for 55s and 55, 35s, 45s. This step is the same on all those models. You're gonna pop this cover off. Now, we're gonna disconnect this yellow wire from here, and we're gonna run it out all through here, and then we're gonna remove that screw here holding this ground blue wire. We're gonna take that out. You might have the reader controller, which goes the card reader. It goes right here on the side. That'll just be connected to this connection here. Disconnect it, just leave it there. Now this one runs out to this side. Okay. Alright, now we disconnected this wire that ran here and ran it out. We're gonna put the screen facing this way, like this, and behind it you'll see this cover here, and we'll take this to take that cover off. We have to take these two screws here. And then it just pops right out. Now now that we're here, we're gonna run this yellow wire off like that out of there, and then we're gonna pinch these black wires, pop them out of here, just to give you some more slack room. And then the screws that we're gonna remove here is this one up here, and then on this side it'll have two screws, so those two. All right, now that you have it out, you'll see this cover here. When you pop this, depending on what model it is, some of them have this where this bracket falls under there, and same on this end where it falls in here. That's what's holding it in right now. Other ones will have something else, hold another piece of bracket holding it here. But it's all the same. Just, you're gonna pick it up and slide them out. Now we're at this point, right? There's this cover here that's gonna get you to disconnect these two connections. So you gotta take this out. Now all you gotta do is push down, and then it pops up. And then the wires come out of this way. It's easier with two hands when I got the phone on. Okay. Well, that covers there. Now that we're at this part, this harness stays with the machine, with the control panel, I mean. So you're gonna take it off of here, and that stays like that. And you're gonna disconnect these two connections. To remove this cover, you see this piece here, you just lift it up, and it slides up. And you can disconnect the HDMI cable and this cable here. Again, this just goes in this hole and this hole, and just pops like that. When you put it back, you make sure that that's sit in right. Now, these control panels, there's a same for almost all the models, but what changes is this bracket here and maybe this one. Depending on which one you got, if the brackets don't line up or something's stopping it from fitting in here, in there, you'll replace this one, take this screw out, this pops out, and then set the one off the old control panel and set it back in here. If you got to get to this one, it has two screws, one on this side and one on this side. In order to get that to that bracket, you're gonna have to you start off with taking this one off, don't put it back on yet, and then there'll be 6 screws, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then this cover comes off. To take this cover off, it's a little weird. You gotta angle it in order to get off of this, out of this side. And then you'll see the 2 screws here, and just pop that out, pop the new one on, the old one on, and then do the same to this one. Put it back, and then put this one back in. The way you put this bracket in, you see this, this bracket has like an angle. When you install it, this has this piece popped out so that way it stops it. So make sure it's just on this side. Sometimes I accidentally install it on the other side and it won't stop, but this will stop it on this end. Now to put it back, to reinstall it, just put it at an angle there so it's pulled down. Reconnect your HDMI cable, this cable. Okay, those are the first 2 cables that you got to reconnect. And sometimes they disconnect depending on how you install this piece. Just always double check, make sure they didn't disconnect. Okay, and this goes back in here. this cover. It's gonna go back in there. Sorry again, I'm doing this one-handed recording. Now it'll fall in place first on the bottom. And then you just pop it back up. Okay. Again, it doesn't take much. I know it has a spot here for a flathead screwdriver, but honestly, just push it down. And then you want to insert the brackets back in there. And that'll hold it in place for you. And then just run your cables back how they were. Reconnect this connection here. And then you just screw your screw back on and put your cover back up. This side only has one. Anywhere you see an X, like this one or this one, it normally tells you that that is a hole for the cover, so for the cover screws, not to hold it in place. Okay, and put your cover back on. You still have these. Cover your screw holes, put them back on. And then lastly, this cover here, which this piece are gonna fall in here, I believe, and here. This hole and this hole. And then it falls underneath the other covers here. And it's just finding the way it fits in there. And then you just put the two screws, one screw here and the last screw here, and you should be good.